Welcome to Microsoft Office 101. This is Unit 1, Writing with Purpose, Microsoft Word. So for all these units, we're going to take on a very hands-on approach, a very practical approach. We're going to create documents together in real time. So Lesson 1 is going to start with a first draft of our letter to the editor. So we're going to open up a Word document and we're going to turn that into a letter to the editor to let our case be heard throughout the world. We're going to write a letter that's going to change hearts and minds, and we're going to do that through a Word document. So I have some experience teaching writing at the University of Windsor and Confederation College, the Dryden campus. And I'm very excited to try some online learning with you. So the way this course works is you can sign up for a course. You can simply just watch the videos, or you can email me and get some feedback. So if you want to write along with me, create your own letter to the editor, send it to me, and I can critique it for your formatting, spelling, grammar, that kind of thing, your argument, how compelling your case is, according to me at least, and I can get back to you. So the course works two ways. Option 1, you just simply watch the course and learn at your own pace. And option 2 is you watch the videos and you submit work for feedback. So there's no grades involved, but you'll always get some feedback. And if you can give me specific guidance, I can give you specific feedback on what you want to hear. So on our website at slpl.on.ca/learnonline, we have a Google form posted. You can also find this on the library's website. That's facebook.com/Sioux Lookout Public Library. And we'll be posting content here to show you what courses are being available, when they're going to be streamed. So every Tuesday, we're going to be streaming an educational course. The first one will be Microsoft Office 101. And so those posts can be found on our website as well. But the best place to look for it is so if once you're on the library's website, if you click on posts, and if you scroll down, you can just find the post you're looking for. In this case, we're looking for the computer course or the Microsoft Office course. So if we click on that post and we open up the Google form, you can get a more detailed description of this course, what it entails, and then you can add your name, your email, and you can sign up for the course. So it's that simple, and then you can get started. So with that in mind, we will get started right away. The first thing we're going to talk about is approaching our task with purpose. And we need to ask a very important question. We need to ask, who's my audience? You might be in a situation where you're creating a Word document that is only for yourself. It's a private journal, a memoir, or it's an internal tracking sheet, or just some kind of document where you write down your thoughts and your ideas, and you don't need to share that with anyone. It's just for you. Or more commonly, it's something that you do want to share with the outside world. It's a document that you need to share because it's an assignment. It's a letter to the editor that you want to get published. It's a report you have to write for work. It's all kinds of things that you need to create on your own and then share. So we need to ask, who's my audience? Who's going to read this thing? Why should they care about it? Why should they want to read what I'm offering them? There's a great story about someone sharing a dream with their best friend or their partner or whatever, and they've had this amazing, incredibly vivid dream that means everything to them. But when they go to tell that story to their friend, the friend doesn't care because they didn't have the dream. And it's very hard to express what the dream felt like, what the experience was, unless the words are captured, very brilliantly and poetically and descriptively. And So it's very hard to communicate what you mean because everything makes sense up here. But when you take the next step of sharing it, there's always that problem of it's never going to sound as good in your head as it does on the paper. But with constant editing and revision and keeping an open mind, you can surprise yourself and you can create some amazing things. So, but we need to ask, who's our audience? And we need to approach this thing with purpose. So right now, what I want to do is I want to create a document. And I want that document to be a letter to the editor. So before I do that, I am just going to create a file on my PC. So for this course, we're going to be using Microsoft Office and Windows 10. Now, it doesn't matter if you're on a Mac, if you're using a different browser or an operating system, the principles will be the same. But for demonstration purposes, this course will be done through Microsoft Office 2016 and Windows 10. So, with that in mind, I want to create a document. And I encourage everyone to watch this and not skip through, even if you think you have this one figured out. There still might be some small details that can really help you save time. Okay, so here we go. We have our desktop. Now, most people are familiar with the concept of a desktop, but it's the launch pad for everything we want to do in this course. So we're looking at the Windows desktop. On your keyboard, you will find a little Windows button, and that'll bring you back to this page whenever you need to. So if you look at your keyboard right now and look at that bottom row, you should see a little Windows icon. It'll always bring you back here to your desktop. So I have installed Microsoft Office 2016 on my computer, and I have Microsoft Word. That's one of the programs in the suite. What I've done is I've saved Microsoft Word right down here to the bottom of my screen. I've saved it onto my taskbar. And anytime I want to do that, I can just click on it. And so, or alternatively, I can search for it. I can go to my search bar. This is probably the most useful feature of Windows 10 and previous versions of Windows, is the ability to search for what you're looking for. So you simply just type in Word. The first thing that comes up is Word 2016. That's the app. That's the one I want. If I right click on it, I can save this to my start. I've already done that. And I can save this to my taskbar. So I'm making this thing really easy to find. So it's right down there at the bottom. It's Microsoft Word. I'm going to click on it. Got a couple of files open right now. This is my file that I used for this week's trivia challenge. I'm going to close that down. And this file right here is a bunch of gobbledygook that we're going to get rid of as well. We are not going to save that. So we're going to open up Microsoft Word down here at the bottom in our taskbar, and we're going to start fresh. So right here you get a lot of templates and documents that you can use to create all kinds of things, right? So you can search through here. For today's lesson, we're just going to open up a blank document. We're just going to start from scratch. So there it is right there. I've got my blank document, and we're just going to go over some of the basic features, some of the things you should know about. Of course, you have your cursor that's flashing right there. That's ready to receive text. We can start typing right now. You know, we are writing an awesome letter to the editor! Exclamation point. So there we go. I've got some text down. Up above here, I've got my ribbon or my taskbar. That gives me all kinds of functions. Most of the functions you're going to need are going to be in the Home tab. But of course, there's going to be times where you need to insert elements into your design. You're going to need to change the design of your page, colors, fonts, backgrounds, watermarks, borders, that kind of things. Our layout, another very important layer on our ribbon. We can change the margins, the size, what kind of paper are we printing onto, set up columns. And the other features aren't as commonly used, and we'll get into these features later on. But for now, we're really focusing on these first four. These first five. Sorry, that's the home here. Insert, design, layout. The first one is file, And this is the first thing you should do when you open up a document. So I have my document open. I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to Save As right here. I'm going to hit Save As. Now I can get some options here. So you can see a bunch of options on my computer. These are all my library files that I can access if I need to. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to set mine up to the desktop. Now my desktop is open here. There's a lot of folders already on my desktop. So, but I'm not going to save it into one of these folders. I'm just going to stick it on my desktop. There's not many files on my desktop. There's a lot of folders, but there's not many files, so it's not going to get lost. I'm going to call this thing letter to the, maybe just letter editor to save on space. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in the year 2020, and I'm going to type in the month, 05. Maybe the day too. Now the importance of doing this is we can create a folder and keep all of our documents in that folder. And I'm going to give it a special naming sequence here, a special naming title. So when it comes to sort these things, it'll sort them by letter to the editor and the date that it was created. So I am going to hit save. I'm going to save that to my desktop. And I'm going to go to my desktop, and I'm going to look at, so I'm going to go to my desktop, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on my desktop, and I am going to create a new folder. And that blue highlighted text means that I can start typing, and it's going to erase what's there. So I don't want to call it new folder. I want to call it letters. Or sorry, I'm going to call this is going to be my Word documents folder. Anytime I create a Word document, it's going to go in here. So I've got my Word documents. Right now that folder is empty. I'm going to throw that over here. I'm going to grab my document right here, my letter to the editor, and I'm just going to left click on it and hold it down, and I'm going to just let go and just drop that into this folder right here. Oh, it's not letting me do that because I have it open. So I'm going to shut it down, click and drag it over. We could also save it as this file location, but this is sometimes easier. So now I have this. When I open up my Word document folder, I've got my letter to the editor that I started writing on May 12th, 2020. I can right click on that, I can copy it, and I can hit paste, and I've got a copy of that file right there. So let's say, just for example, I wrote one of these things last month. There we go, and it's not a copy because that's from last month. And there we are. Now I have two documents. And I can take those documents and I can sort them by their name, or I can sort them by the time they were modified. And there we go. So it's important to have some kind of a system for saving your files. Think about where you want to put them. Again, you want to attack this with a lot of purpose, and it really helps if you know where you saved it so you can find it tomorrow when you work on it, when you draft it up. So now I know where my document is. I can approach my Workday, open up my Word documents. What I want to do is open up this document right here. And there we go. So I'm up and running. I've got a document open. I have it saved as a certain name. So you don't want to have something called, untitled document 1 or something like that you don't know what it is, or 2 months from now you'll have no recollection of where you saved it because you can't pull it up by its file name. So right off the bat, change that file name, and now you're set up. You've got your document, you've got everything you need to do to get started. So again, we're approaching this task with purpose. We are asking the question, who's my audience? So in this case, we've talked about the purpose. So my audience is going to be, let's say, the local population of Sioux Lookout, or anyone who reads the Sioux Lookout Bulletin. That's my audience. I want to get this letter picked up, and I want people to hear, what I have to say about something. Okay, so I'm gonna write my letter to the editor. That's my audience. That's the people who are going to read it. I need to make them care about it. So with that in mind, we're gonna jump right in here. And so we've already talked about this. So creating, opening, and properly saving documents. It's a very important part of your process. So with this course, we're looking at file management and information management. So we're creating a lot of information. We need to save it, keep track of it, know where it is, learn how to edit it, how to mold it, transform it. So we have created the document. We know how to open it, and we're gonna talk about saving that document, which is very crucial. Okay, so very important that you think about saving your document. Microsoft will, depending on which version you're using, will have ways to auto save the document, auto recover it, but it's a good habit just to do it on your own as you start creating more content. So we're going to look at creating our document and creating, opening, and saving documents. Okay, so now I have my editor open again. So what I'd like to do is I would like to just demonstrate. We're just gonna demonstrate some keyboard commands and some. We're just gonna be demonstrating. One sec. Okay, so we're going back to our document. So here we go. We have our letter to the editor. Now I want to talk a little bit about the writing process. Now I want to spend some time talking about the writing process. I think that can't be underestimated or can't be talked about enough. So when you approach this thing, you want to look at the process. How are you going to get it done? And ask yourself, how am I going to do this? What's the process involved? And I think writing process is different for individuals. It depends on what your habits are like. I personally always write with music. Some people cannot write with music. They need, as quiet as possible. They need to focus on the task at hand. I just enjoy hearing music, usually instrumental music, no lyrics, usually just drum and bass and keyboards and things like that. So, but no matter what you do, no matter what kind of a writer you are, you do have to get words onto the page. And that is, of course, the biggest stumbling block. People always talk about writer's block, and it's that inhibition, and you're stuck with the blank page. So I'm just going to walk you through my process as I approach this assignment. So I'm going to go into my document here. I'm going to open it up. Just going to open up my... Oh, whoops, wrong window. I'm going to open up my Word document. Okay, so I have my Word document open right here. And I'm just going to, so we are writing an awesome letter to the editor. So I think you need to look at this as it's a blank page, it's a blank canvas, but what it is, it's a launch pad for all of our ideas. So don't be afraid to jot down rough notes, stream of consciousness. Just if you're fired up and you're passionate about something, you need to just sit there and write and get your ideas on the page. And you might be in a situation where you write 1,000 words and you end up keeping, 100 of them, or even keeping 200. So you're just getting everything down, and then you'll pare it back to all the good stuff. So I'm just going to start typing out loud to see where my mind goes. So, so for this first assignment, I am going to compose a letter a letter to the editor. What I want to do is express an opinion on a subject. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm gonna pick an issue here that's it's controversial in nature, and it means a lot to people, especially I think in northwestern Ontario. So for our purposes here, I'm going to be talking about the recent changes to gun control in Canada, and I'm not going to be expressing my personal opinion on this matter. I don't think it's the appropriate way to do that as an instructor. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take two sides of the issue, and as I draft my letter, I'm also going to be, I'm going to be drafting like a two-sided letter to the editor, the one that presents both sides and asks the reader to sort of make their decision on the issue. So we're going to learn and write as we go along, and just take an initial look at this assignment. So for the assignment, I'm going to zoom in here so you can see that's a little better, right? So maybe we can get everything on the page at once. What I want to do is express an opinion on a subject. The subject at hand will be recent changes to gun control in Canada. Now, okay, so there we go. So that's what I've got in my mind. So I think my main point will be that legislation and things like that need to be, dependent on the regions of Canada and the regions within provinces. So there we go. So I think that's one main idea. I'm going to say another idea is the let's see, the whole thing. No, another idea is this. It doesn't matter how you feel about this issue. You might agree with me that Northern Ontario and Northwestern Ontario are different than Southern Ontario and need to be governed differently, or have exemptions or different things like that. Okay, so this is kind of rambly. This is me just literally, I'm typing out loud as I do this video, and I'm just writing things down. This is a great way to great way to approach any kind of writing project or any kind of creative endeavor. Most of them, this would work well. You're getting your ideas down. We're not thinking about how we're going to phrase it yet. We haven't even thought about formatting. All we're doing is getting those raw thoughts down out of our brain onto the page. And this is a good start. I've got 117 words here that I can take and I can work with. So we're going to stop there. But that's the first part of the process that I'd like you to explore. Just what issue would you like to talk about with the public? This does not have to be about a Sioux Lookout. This could be a letter to the editor in any city in the world. So it's up to you. The location is not important. What's important is the process of you doing it. So think of an issue you're fired up about. Think of something you're passionate about. What do you talk about? What do you think about? What would you do if you had a lot of free time and you could just write about it and research it? What would occupy your mind? What would you do? So just write about that. And keep in mind, you don't have to share it with anybody. Just keep it to yourself, or share it with me if you want some feedback, or share it with your friends and family if you're feeling like you want their feedback. But it doesn't have to be for anybody but yourself. Just think about what's important to you and let's start writing it, okay? So now we're going to go back, and so now we've opened, saving our document. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go up to our file here, and we're going to go to File, or we can just simply hit the save up there, that little floppy disk up there, that little save, or we can go to File, Save. Good. Now my file's saved. I can move on. I can feel happy that I'm not going to lose any of my content here. So what we're going to do is go back, and what we're going to talk about now are some keyboard commands. Now these are things that I wish I had known about when I first started doing stuff like this. So we're going to start with some with some keyboard commands, okay? So I'm going to take you here. Here's a little behind the scenes view of my studio here. And here is my keyboard. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hand, and my keyboard commands, I'm going to execute them with my pinky. I'm going to hold down the control button right there. Going to hold down that control button with my pinky, and then I'm going to hit some keys. I'm going to hit S, Z, X, C, and F. So I'm just going to focus on these 5 right here, okay? That little U shape. We've got A, Z, X, C, and V, okay? Sorry. A, Z, X, C, V, and F. Ooh, I want to teach you 6. Okay. Well, we'll start with a bunch, okay? And then we'll see how these work, okay? First one we're going to do is we're going to take our pinky, hold down Control, and we're going to hit C, okay? We're going to do Control C, and that's copy, okay? Control C is to copy some information, okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to my web browser. I'm using Chrome right now, so your browser is what allows you to view websites. I'm going to go to my Google here, and I'm going to type in Justin Trudeau gun control speech, okay? Trudeau was talking about more gun control. I want something a bit more recent. Let's see. There we go. This is good. This is the Liberal Party of Canada. We're gonna pull some stuff right off their website, okay? So this is what they want to do, okay? Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just copy and paste. I'm just gonna copy and paste these first 2. All right, so I'm gonna take my mouse and I'm gonna put it right behind the word "we." And I'm gonna left click. And I'm going to hold that down until I get to that word "including" right there, okay? And then I'm going to let go. Now I've got my blue text, so whatever I want to do, I can do to this blue text. So I'm going to left click, I'm going to right click on that, and I'm going to, let's try that again. I'm going to select a whole bunch of text, and now I am going to I'm going to hold down Control, and I'm going to hit C. Okay, so I've held down Control, hit C. And I'm going to go back to my Word document. Now I'm going to hold down Control and hit the letter A. Sorry, now I'm going to hit the Control and hit the letter V. Okay, so Control C will copy the information, and Control V will paste it into my document, okay? So, now I've got this quote from the Liberal Party of Canada. Now maybe what I want to do is I'm just going to highlight that, and up here in my banner, I'm going to go to my highlighter, and I don't like that red. It's a little bit too, but we'll put that in green, okay, just to distinguish it, right? So these are my words right here. These are the Liberal Party's words down here, okay? So we're gonna talk about some of the words in this document, okay? So once again, just for a little recap there. So I have used my pinky, hit down Control. When I have a bunch of text that I like, I hit C. I've got Control held down. I hit C. I copy that text, or I copy that image, I copy whatever I want. Once I have my cursor set up, I hit Control V and I paste it. Very useful keyboard commands, Control C and Control V. Okay, so now I've got my document. Here's another one. I'm gonna hold down Control and hit A. When I do that, everything gets highlighted. Control A is all, so A stands for all. Control All will highlight everything. Once I've got everything highlighted, I can go up here. So once I'm on the home ribbon up here, a lot of useful features come up here. One of the most useful features is the size of the text. That's that little drop down menu right here that I'm clicking on. I want everything to be 24, or I want everything to be 16. This is the size of the font. So 12 on a printed page is readable. Anything under 12 is going to be hard to read, and you might want to go for 14, 16 if you're printing the page out and you expect people to read it. Your headings, like I can make this my header. Instead of 16, it's going to be 20, so it's going to be bigger. And I can put it in bold, and I can underline it. And I can make it in the center of the page. So right there, that's about 4 or 5 things that I just did that can really improve how a document looks. So, but let's say I don't like what I just did. I want to use the Control Z feature, all right? Most people might call it a Control Z, but up here in Canada, we are calling that one the Control Z. So once again, I'm going to go back to my keyboard, hold down Control, going to hit that Z key, and that's going to undo what I just did. I want to undo what I just did. Hold down Control, hit Z. All those steps, we're going backwards in time, they're all gone. I highlight it again. I got that text highlighted. I go up to my font size. I make it a 20. Now you see it's highlighted, it's all in gray. So any change I make up here in my ribbon is going to apply only to the highlighted text. So I'm going to bold just the highlighted text. I'm going to underline just that text, and I'm going to center it. So bold, italics, underline, these are what we can do to our font, what we can do to our text. The alignment, so you can justify it to the left, put it on the right. In this case, I'm going to put it in the middle. So there we go. So we've got Control C is copy, Control V is paste, Control A is select everything, select all. Control Z, that's how we undo things, very important button. And Control V is paste. And one last one we're going to talk about is the Control V. So I know that, let's just see here. I'm gonna put we're gonna put the word gun in here. Okay, so I'm gonna go Control F. When I hit Control F, this navigation pane comes up, and I'm gonna type in the word gun. It's gonna show me the 7 times the word gun is here. I used it once, and the word gun is used 6 more times in that little passage I just copy and pasted from the Liberal Party of Canada's website. I can go to each one, and this is a very useful feature when you're looking at your information or somebody else's. If you're reading an article online and you're looking for one word, it'll bring you right there. So Control F, that's a very useful tool for research, also for writing, okay? Okay, so we're just gonna close that off. So there we go, we've got 5 time-saving essential keyboard commands, which are, once again, can't stress these enough, learn these, use them every day, okay? They'll save you a lot of time. Control A to select all, Control Z to undo, Control X to cut, Control C is to copy, Control V is to paste, and Control F is to find documents. Now, we didn't use the Control X, we copied from a website, but we can use the X to cut information. That means you cut a paragraph, you cut a word, and then you Control V, you paste it somewhere else. This is very useful. You've got that pinky pinned on here, and you're just grabbing text with Control A, you're grabbing it with Control C, you're pasting it with Control V, you're cutting it with Control X, and if you don't like what you did, you hit Control Z, and if you can't find what you're looking for, you hit Control F to find out what you need. I've also got some bonus mouse commands that I would like to talk about with you today too, right? So don't want to underestimate the power of doing this, right? So with our mouse over here, we've got with our mouse over here, like most mice, this has the left and it's got the right. Okay, we have the left clicker and the right clicker. Now what you have also is you have a single click. We have let me just demonstrate that again. We have the single click, we have the double click, and we have the triple click. So once again, you have single, double, and triple. Now those are very useful and will come in handy. We'll just demonstrate that once again. So we have the single click, we have the double click, and we have the triple click. Now go back into our document here. Now if I want to single click on a word, like this word writing, I single click. The single click is going to put my cursor, let's just zoom in for here. If I put my cursor between the I and the T in writing, that single click is going to put my cursor there. Now if I double click, it's going to grab that word writing. I've got the whole word. So I double click, I've got awesome. Zoom out a bit, triple click, 1, 2, 3, I got the whole paragraph. This paragraph just happens to be one sentence, right? Let's try it again. One click places my cursor, 2 clicks grabs a word, triple click grabs a whole paragraph. Very useful. So if you want to grab chunks of information, I want to grab that. I want to exit. I want to throw it over here. There we go. Actually, that doesn't make any sense. I'm going to undo it, okay? So I'm going to double click the word express. I am going to control exit. I am going to control V it over here. Then I am going to double click it. I am going to control C it. I am going to control V it to paste it. And then I'm going to undo all my mistakes because none of that makes any sense. Okay, but very useful feature. So single click, try it out yourself. Place your cursor, double click, word, triple click, paragraph. So there we go. There you have it. You not only have 5 essential time-saving keyboard commands, you now have 3 bonus mouse commands. Now I'd like to, I'd like to spend some time talking about getting our thoughts down on the page and learning how to free write, how to really embrace the process of the free write. So when I learned, when I was learning creative writing at university, and when I was teaching how to be a teacher, so when I was learning how to be a teacher, so when I was in university learning how to be a teacher, learning how to teach composition to undergraduate students, we spent a lot of time talking about free writes and embracing that habit. And I strongly urge everybody watching this video to embrace that habit too. So free writing at its core is just you at a laptop setting a timer, or setting down your workstation, setting a timer, and just writing as much as you can. Right now, I'm just going to show you a 1-minute free write. And we're going to see how much stuff I can get down in 1 minute about my subject, okay? So I'm just going to start talking and out loud and type my notes down. And we're just going to go for a minute. We're just going to see, we're just going to see where that takes us, okay? So I'm going to scroll down here, go back to my Word document. So, and this thing is coming together, okay? We've got our heading here. We've made our heading. We have jotted down some quick notes on it. We've got some research here. We've got some information on here. You know what? Before we get too far, I would like to give this information some context. So this is, let's just say, this is from the Liberal Party of Canada's website. Maybe later I'll put the actual website in there, but for now that's good enough. So I know that's where that comes from. That's the official platform. That's the this is their platform. Platform/opinion. This is what they say on the matter. So I've got that. I've got, so maybe right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, you know, page 1. Now once your Word document's open, you'll see at the very bottom of the screen, it'll say page 1 of 2. It'll say you have 232 words, so that's really important to keep track of. How many pages do I have? How many words have I composed? A letter to the editor is probably going to be 200, 300, 500, 600 words at the long end, right? So we're already starting to add a lot of words in here, so we need to be careful of that. So I've got my notes on the subject. Page 2 is my research, and I'm going to put my cursor at the bottom. I'm going to go to page 3, and page 3 is just going to be, you know, this is going to be a free write. Free write on the issue. You know, and this was done on May the 12th, 2020. I'm going to do a free write on this issue. Now, right now, I've got 240 words, so here we go. You know, for my letter to the editor, I want to copy and paste some of the phrasing from the Liberal Party. Then I will discuss that wording and put it into my context. Again, my main argument is about regional differences. Is it, you know, is it too much to expect that Northwestern Ontario is treated differently when it comes to gun control? Are we not treated differently on so many other issues, right? So I kind of like that. I'm just gonna quickly highlight that one. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm gonna resist the urge to fiddle, and I'm just gonna keep writing. Yes, I am going to keep writing and not get distracted from all of this. Okay, that was a little over a minute, but you get the idea. So let's see here. You know, let's see. So I had this little paragraph that I wrote in 1 minute, so I can triple click it. Once triple click it, now I have it. I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to go to, actually, sorry, now that I have it all highlighted in gray, I'm going to go to the top here where it says review. Now, if you click review, I'm going to go to word count. Now, since I only have this gray stuff highlighted, it's going to give me a word count. This is 83 words. You know, so I got about 83 words there down. 364 characters, 447 characters with no spaces. Okay, so I was typing for about a minute and a half there, so probably clicking at about 50 or 60 words a minute. So, you know, depending on how fast you are at typing. So depending on how fast you are at typing, and don't be too concerned about that, your output's going to be a bit lower, but the important thing is you sustain it. That was 1 minute. I would suggest you do about 10 minutes or even 15 minutes. So just really get into the habit of just typing onto a word processor, typing into Microsoft Word when you have something due, when you have an assignment, when you have a task in mind, like writing a letter to the editor. Really embrace that process, right? Spend 10 minutes, spend 15 minutes, and you're not allowed to do anything else. You can't open up a web browser, you can't check your emails, you can't check your Facebook account. If you got music, put it on in the background, but for 15 minutes, you are simply writing. And if you can't think of something to write, say, I can't think of something to write. I am doing a free write. I am doing a free write. This is stupid because I can't think of something to write. Why am I doing this? Blah, blah, blah. Keep it going, keep it going. I know I want to write about this issue. This issue is important to me because, you know. And if you're having a hard time with the free writes, you can go back into your, you know, your document. And before you do your free write, before you set your timer, think of some prompts, okay? The reason this issue is important to me is this. I have some good arguments. This is the best one. Now, let's just say, you know, for gun control. Let's say against gun control. Here we go, for gun control. The Liberal Party really delivered with this legislation. Canada will be safer, and here's why. Or alternatively, I can say, you know, the Liberal Party really messed this one up, and here's why. So now I've got my prompts, okay? So I'm going to write for 15 minutes, and I'm going to divide my time up, or I'm going to spend 5 minutes on each one, and I'm not allowed to stop, right? So I've got to fill in those blanks. You know, for me, for my own purposes. Northwestern Ontario should, or I don't know, or could have different legislation or rules because, you know, there we go. So give yourself some prompts, and or you know, you can approach this like maybe it's more procedural. The first thing I need to do is ... and what is it? Do you need to research? Do you need to write? Do you need to edit? Do you need to, you know, what is it? What is, you know, this is my next step. Or let's just say, you know, things aren't going well. I am having a hard time with this assignment. The thing that is, you know, getting in my way the most is ... And if you can think of what's getting in the way, or if you can express it and say, like, you know, I'm trying this assignment, but I'm having a hard time with this, you know, try and write about it. And then, or reach out to me and say, hey, I'm having a hard time with this aspect. Maybe it's a technical aspect, maybe it's a software thing, maybe it's a typing thing, maybe it's, you know, how this program looks on your particular device, you know, it could be anything. Just let me know what it is. Or if you don't want to share that, just think about it on your own terms. So I want to get this thing done, but I can't because there's something blocking me. There's something I can't do. There's something that's, you know, in my way. There's a step I have to take. And it can make sense in your mind, but until you articulate it, until you get back into your screen. So I've just given myself some guidance here. So let's just say this. You know, I am doing a free write demonstration for my YouTube channel. I want to show the students why free writing is important. Here are some prompts I came up with to motivate myself and keep myself, you know, focused. So there we go. Writing prompts are really helpful. It really helps you to frame things. It's always good to frame things. Another great thing to do would be to, you know, look at other examples of letters to the editor, and that should generate a lot of questions, you know. So read somebody else's writing. Ask yourself, you know, what do I like about this writer? How compelling are they? Read bad examples. Say, I think that's a terrible letter to the editor. What could they do better? So I think we got a really good start here. Okay, so that's the you know, that's really the process that we want to do for this assignment here. So what I'm gonna close with today is I'm gonna give you some homework. So I'm gonna go back to my Word document and I'm gonna keep on going. I'm up to 4 pages here. Comes to gun control. There we go. So I am gonna go here and let's see here. Okay, so here we go. This is the most important part. This is the homework assignment for lesson 1, you know, of unit 1, writing with purpose. So what I want you to do is I want you to create a Word document. I want you to save that file to your desktop. I want you to give that file a good name using your own file management system. So that, sorry, I'm going to say you're going to give that file a good name. Yeah, exactly. So, and then you're going to either keep that file on your desktop or, comma, better yet, create a folder to keep your assignments. Okay, now once you have that document, once you have it named, then I want you to put a header or a title on your document. So I want you to just give it a rough name, then highlight the text, make it 20-point font, make it bold, underline it, and center the text. You can go back in the video and watch where I did that and just copy along, so just do that. Then I want you to do at least a 5-minute free write. You can do this with or without a prompt. Use, with or without a prompt, okay? So do a 5-minute free write, okay? Okay, so you've got your title, you've got your header, you've got your, and then I want you to do a 5-minute free write. Okay, this free write is all about what you want to and express an opinion on. Just write as many words as possible and explain to yourself why you chose this subject. Idea, person, issue, whatever. Okay, that's all I want you to do. Okay. Then I want you to use your keyboard and mouse commands to copy, Control C, and paste. Let's put that in there, just so we know. Control C and paste. Control V, paste. Some text about your issue into the Word document. So go online and find an article or some other source and find what someone else is saying about this issue. You will either agree or disagree with them, or have an ambiguous, or you will have an ambiguous opinion that you may need to think about a little more. Okay. Cannot spell ambiguous or opinion. Okay. And there we go. That's your. Those are 7 things I want you to do. Let's quickly review that. Okay. You'll create a Word document. You will save that file to your desktop, giving it a name, a good name. Think about a system. How are you going to save these things? Where are you going to put them? On your desktop, in a folder. Think about all that. Put a header on it. Give this thing a title. Give it a rough name. Highlight the text. Make that title stand out. Then do your 5-minute free write. Then I want you to paste that in there. Ah, yes, your final step. Okay. I'd say after you have let your free write sit for a while, I want you to read it out loud. And I do mean this, 100%. Do this out loud. If you got 200, 350 words, doesn't matter. Read them out loud to yourself. See how they sound. Think about it for a sec, and then go back and read it again. Read it out loud. Then, go back and read it again. Then, go in and just change a few words, clean up the grammar, fix little mistakes, try and rephrase something a little better, just try to improve what you wrote a little bit. One edit is enough. Yeah. Look at the change or changes you made and focus on one of them. Ask yourself, how did that change improve my writing? What other changes can I make to move this project along? Okay, so that's what I want you to do. That's your homework assignment right there. You are going to, and I'll post this on the, I'll post this online as well, and in the description of the video. Okay, so you're gonna have a homework assignment. It's gonna be 8 steps, and it's gonna be based on what we just did today. So once you've got that done, you'll have a really great start. So I want to close with a very important idea. So what we're teaching here is process. We're teaching how to attack a project, how to start it, what to do when you're there, how to use commands to save yourself time. So it's really important. Writing is a process. Stephen King called writing a lot like ditch digging. It's a lot of hard work, and you have to sustain your focus for a long time. You have to cut out distractions, and you have to embrace that writing state. And the more you do it, the more it becomes natural, and it's like being an athlete. It's going to feel weird if you're out of shape and you put on running shoes for the first time and you try and sprint around the track, you're going to hurt something. You're going to blow your knee out, you're going to pull a muscle. But if you get out there and you jog for 10 minutes, you stretch, it feels good, and you do that every day for 2 weeks, 2 weeks go by, then you're sprinting, then you're up and running. So it takes a lot of time, it's a lot of work, but I'm here to help you through it. And I really want you to try that free writing. It really changed my life, and it changed how I wrote. And I think it's a key that unlocks the first steps to being a writer, to being an editor. And you have to just get things on the page. So our brains are very critical of our brains, right? So when we produce things, there's that side of your brain that says, no, this is bad, this is terrible. So you need to silence that part of your brain, get stuff on the page. And then the critical part of your brain can be utilized for the revision process. So writing is a 2-part process. It's getting ideas down and it's editing them. And I think 99% of writers can use that process. They write a lot and they edit it down, and they have drafts and revisions, and they agonize over sentence structure. And the other 1% can just get it right the first time, but it's a very unrealistic expectation to place on yourself. You're never going to get it right the first time, and that's not the point. You need to just get it down. You don't need to read a book about writing. You don't need to take a course. You do need to take this one if you want to stay focused and learn some tips. But if you want to write, just write. You don't need to read books. You don't need courses. You don't need any of that. If you want to write, just write. And it'll feel good. When you start getting 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 10,000 words down, which you will if you do it every day. If you do a 15-minute free write every day, you'll mass up a ton of text. It won't take very long, and you'll get more and more focused. And as you go back and read your work and change it and critique it, you're going to get stronger. So I look forward to taking this journey with a lot of you, helping you out, helping you learn. And that's it for today. I hope you learned something, and I look forward to coming back next week where we look at taking some text and polishing it up and formatting it and editing it and making it shine. So good luck.